Hey, this is Russell, and I work at the video store, the place that we can all go to every week when it's movie night. On days like today, when the store is quiet, I get to watch movies and series and talk about them with my friends that work here. All right, let's do it. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was ready, interesting!
Good morning, guys.
Yo.
What's happening?
Yeah, good, man.
We got Perrin today,
Hello.
and we got Gaddy.
I'm mostly here.
Mostly. You're
Yeah.
doing very well for early mornings.
Yeah, I was up at like 6:15 this morning.
For a guy that didn't do mornings.
Yeah, I've totally changed my life now.
I want to get into it because there's been some exciting news. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the video store. Thank you for wandering into our video store. It is lovely to have you. Today is a clerk's chat, so that's just us talking about what we're watching on streaming platforms and out in cinemas. Myself and Gad went to a premiere or like a special advance screening last week, so I want to talk about that. There's some TV shows. I'm sure you guys have got lots to talk about. And then later this week is going to be our guest chat. So on Thursday, the episode will come out with our guest chat. And this week, it's going to be comedian and actor Glenn Biederman Pam.
Yeah,
You know him, Gad?
yeah, he was in our music video.
He was in our music video. He was in the Say Anything music video, which was a very cinematic narrative music video that he did a great job in.
He used to work with Brian and Asher before even then. He was just like shadowing them with Team Best.
Yeah, because he's got his own production company as
Panther
well.
Punch, or what is it
Panther
called?
Punch, yeah. So you know him too.
Yeah, I've never met him, but I've known him in passing.
Yeah,
you know?
no, he's a lovely dude. So that'll be on Thursday, so look out for that one. Before we get going, I just want to make a quick announcement for all those browsing, all those in the aisles of our video store. Just a quick little one. I'm going to press this button. Attention all customers, this is just to let you know that we are running a special promotion with our friends at Duis Wine. So if you hop on over to duis.wine, you can get 15% off your order if you use the promo code VideoStoreDuis. But the big thing is you've got to choose the pickup at the Bioscope. So here at the Bioscope Cinema, we allow you to pick up your Duis wine for free to save on shipping if you live in Joburg. So you've got to choose that. But if you use Video Store Duis, you can get 15% off that order. Okay, magic. What have we been enjoying? Gaddy, should we talk quickly about...
Imaginary friends.
I want to talk about imaginary friends, but let's talk about the fact that you got married.
Oh,
Yay, muzzles.
Yeah, that happened too.
Yeah, just casual. Both myself and Gad were the sort of engaged bros at the start of this year when it comes to the guys in the band. And you were thinking of later in the year?
Yeah, we were toying with so many dates and nothing worked for my mother, so we were like, let's just do it now.
Nothing worked for Sandra.
Yeah, it was like my mom and then my brother couldn't make any dates, and we were just fed up with trying to please everyone, so we were like, we're doing this for us.
Because, in and around the Easter weekend, hey? It was like around the 27th of April.
The public holiday.
On the public holiday, Gad phoned me a little while before and was like, what are you doing on Saturday? I'm like, I'm going to be in Cape Town.
Yeah, we organized the whole thing in like 10 days.
But congratulations, man. Here you are. I could see your wedding ring.
Yeah.
Looking good on you.
Thanks, man.
And was it everything that you needed it to be?
Yeah, it was super simple. We had like 30 people. I made the wedding cake.
Oh.
And it was just in the garden.
Yeah.
It was lovely. It was
Shaniqua
small,
was the maid of honor.
of course.
Do you know who Shaniqua is?
No.
Okay. Shaniqua is Gad's fat pug.
Oh, sick.
Sorry to add the adjective, but
No,
it's quite important
we
to...
can't skirt around the fact that she is large.
She is large and in charge.
Yeah.
We were traveling once as a band, and Gad was talking about the fact that he wants to get a pug. Did you get her from Pug Rescue?
No, I didn't know
Okay.
about them yet.
Okay, then Gad came to realize
Yeah.
the industry of pugs thereafter and has done a lot of work to support pug rescue. Because a lot of people, like Gad, want to get pugs and then realize they don't want them.
They're a lot of work.
They're a lot of work.
They're noisy and they smell funny.
Yeah, they
issues,
kind of
yeah.
shouldn't exist as a species. Don't ever Google a pug skull.
Oh God.
No, you should Google it.
It's wild to me that I'm googling it right now, but like it's wild to me that they once were wolves thousands of years ago.
And Gad said he wanted to get a pug, and then I think I was driving. We were on a tour somewhere, and I was like, Gad, you should give her a strong African American woman's name. And he's like, what did you have in mind? I was like, Shaniqua. And he's like, done.
I thought she was going to be a black pug because her father was a black one and her mother was fawn. So we're like, no, she needs a strong.
No, but old Shaniqua's come everywhere. She's had songs written about her. Really, go Adventure Man. Sorry, Shaniqua. It's actually one of Gad's better ones.
Well, thanks. Yeah, but there's like an X-ray version of it.
Yeah, that's haunting. Yeah. No,
It's
there's like a
oh,
side.
yes,
There's a side view as well.
Yeah, I've
of
seen
it.
it. Like, sorry, we're looking at the skulls right now, and they look alien. It's
They
monstrous.
shouldn't exist.
And I've discovered now since I'm married, I'm enjoying foods that I never thought I would. Like I bought
That's interesting.
I bought a sandwich. It was like a salami sandwich. And I opened it up. I'm like, oh, there's tomato and pickles in. And like I was about to take them out and I realized I've got nowhere to put them. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to eat this. I'm just going to eat it.
No, the important thing here, okay, Perrin, for you to understand, is that not only is Gad married, but he's like becoming more of a dad because
Okay,
the
got
woman
you.
he's married has a kid. He's
Yeah.
a lovely dude, and he actually comes to a lot of our kid previews. Because if a little kid loves it, then you know it's going to be a good kids movie.
Yeah, for sure.
So good old Corbin. And I think Gaddy's grown up so much in the last year. And I think the marriage has just like sped up that process.
Yeah.
It's been exciting to see you like grow up.
Oh.
Because he was always like the youngest in sort of
Yeah.
spirit. But speaking of weird aliens, when we were looking at that pug skull, have you guys seen Strange Planet?
No.
It's
Oh,
on.
it's like that
on
guy who makes that cartoon show.
Yeah, so it was originally a cartoon, like a strip cartoon, right? Very much for the internet, great meme kind of content. And now it's the TV show, which is on Apple TV Plus.
It's very cool. I've seen a couple of episodes.
It's very cool. Have you heard of it, Perrin?
No, I'm
Okay,
looking at it right now.
So and you don't know about Strange Planet. Okay, so let me sell it to you. It
Oh,
says,
yes, I recognize that strip. Yeah,
You
the
recognize
blue
the strip.
aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
the whole point is like, imagine everything that we do as humans being done on a completely different planet by aliens.
Yeah.
Where the aliens have given like the literal definition and the literal meaning to everything that we do as humans. So they're almost speaking. It's so straight. You almost got to translate almost everything that they say. But the whole point of the show is to point out how silly our human society is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they refer to pillows as like comfort squares. And they don't say thank you, they go gratitude. and so they are and the first episode is all about like air travel. And the way they speak literally to each other points out how stupid and silly human society is. It's really smart. It's I don't know how much you can watch in one go because you have to constantly be translating it in your head.
Yeah, like a couple of episodes at a time max.
Yeah, it's like a little thing to kind of go to every
How
now
long
and
are the
again.
episodes?
Like
20 minutes.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
like a sort of full TV showy thing, 20,
Okay.
30. But yeah, it's on Apple TV Plus, and
I
it's
really
really
like
cool.
that.
Yeah, have you seen any of it?
Just the first couple.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, so you've seen some of it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Imaginary Friends. Do you know about it?
Yeah,
Did you end up going
I
to watch
literally
it?
watched it last night. Yeah.
Okay. What did you think?
So, like,
It was a little disappointing.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing, but I felt it stuck the landing, like emotionally, at least for me.
It got pretty close.
yeah.
Let's just.
I think once they started connecting everything because
Yeah.
everything was very much up in the air.
That's what I thought. Like, there was a moment where I was like, what is the point of all this? You know what I mean? Like,
Let's just give a little back of the box. So, Imaginary Friends in the rest of the world, or at least America, is being called If.
yeah.
So, South Africa and perhaps other territories are calling it imaginary friends. But this is the brainchild of John Krasinski, who we know most famously from The Office.
And then The Quiet Place.
And then he started making his own movies because he directed Quiet Place. Eh?
Both of
the
them,
first two.
Yeah, so he's become a director, and of course he's acted in a whole bunch of stuff. And then this has been quite a long-awaited, quite anticipated film because I think he's always had a good sense of warmth and happiness and good. Like, did you remember watching the things that he did in COVID? He had that like fake news network.
Yes.
and
Not the real news.
good,
Yeah, it
the
was
Good
like
News
this-
Network. And so
Yeah.
and he's always been like the nice guy. He's always been like the wholesome dude. So this is now his big children's movie, which is what you get the sense of from the trailer and what the story is about imaginary friends. And if imaginary friends were real, and all of a sudden one can now see, this main character can see imaginary friends. Throughout the course of the movie, there's a little bit more to it, but it's all about your childhood, your loss of childhood, what those childhood imaginary friends meant to you. It's a little bit convoluted.
Yeah.
And I think it lacked a little bit of secret sauce. It lacked some big heart.
Yeah, so for me, I was very much up in the air until a certain point when I didn't understand what a character was. And then when that kind of turned around, I'm like, oh, retroactively, a lot of stuff makes sense. I think that...
I don't think you're giving it away, but you're talking about Ryan Reynolds.
yeah.
Okay, so he's one of the main characters. So it's a little girl whose mom has died. You get the sense now she's with her dad, who's played by John Krasinski.
He's in the same hospital as the mother when she
Yeah,
died.
and he's now and pretty much the whole movie takes place over like a few days when the dad is getting a surgery.
Yeah.
And while she's staying in New York to get this surgery with her dad, she's staying in her grandmother's apartment, which she must have spent a bit of time in growing up. And then she discovers that upstairs is this guy who has all these imaginary friends around him.
Yeah.
And she gets to know them, and she helps these imaginary friends be connected to their people. Their
Well, I think
humans.
she's trying to rehome them to find new humans, young kids for them.
But and so all of them are wildly different. They're like big hairy monsters or little banana people. And I must say the film itself is beautiful looking.
Yeah.
And I also know from film school that that's one of the worst things you can say about a movie is to only say like it looks great.
It just wasn't as quirky as it should have been.
And
Yeah.
because it was so beautiful looking, so like the way, compare a film like this to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you got animation and live action interacting. It's amazing to show how far we've gotten, where these furry things, and of course all of them have got quite different textures. They looked so good amongst the real characters, the real humans. But for me, it made me feel like too aware of its production, too aware of its costume. It all looked so beautiful that I was aware of how everything was a bit too stylized, a bit too planned. And so it lost a little authenticity to me. It all felt a bit too perfect. And in that, I lost the heart.
I mean, I was still weeping by the end.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah,
listen, I think that's the thing, is that if you did feel something, and I think I got a little something near the end, and there's some nice little twists and turns, which I think make the movie, will give it some substance, but
But I
that's
think
nice. So that you guys loved it, eh?
Look, I mean, it was a lot like Inside Out, and I've been hearing a lot of
Foster's Home.
See,
for
I never
Imaginary
watched
Friends.
that.
It's like basically the same thing.
What's that movie?
So Foster's Home for
TV
Imaginary
series.
Friends. Yeah, it was an animated TV shows. I think Jendi Tarkovsky did it. He did Dexter, Samurai Jack, Primal.
Okay.
And the whole premise of the show was there was a like an orphanage for imaginary friends. And the whole premise was them trying to find these imaginary friends, new kids for them to adopt. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, no, that's basically a similar
That's
premise.
basically it, right? So, like with the movie, I mean, like Gad said, like by the end of it, he was crying, like, and that's where I felt as well. Most of the movie, I was like, okay, there's not really a plot to this movie. Things are just happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's just bouncing from one scenario to another, trying to help and like a friend find someone or reconnect with their their childhood friend. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, most of the time I also felt like a disconnect. I was just like, I don't understand where this is going. I don't understand what they're trying to do. It felt too much that John Krasinski was like too influenced by other things that he saw. You know what I mean? So it felt like it was missing some sort of heart. Like past his own. I mean, the first 5 minutes was essentially up.
Yeah, and I thought that was
You know what
very
I mean?
interesting. But yeah,
I think they were just so like proud of this twist that they had, that they hinged the whole movie about putting that twist towards the end, and it held things back.
there were all these famous folk that were the voices of all these imaginary characters.
Stacked cast.
Like,
Jesus.
but they didn't do anything with them.
Yeah.
You know, they were like these quick little vignettes that were kind of superfluous. But anyways, it was cool. I'm glad we saw it, and it's in cinemas now.
I
and
would
I
watch
think
it with Corbin.
there we go. Here's the key thing. It's like, it's maybe not for us.
Yeah.
You know,
I
that's what
think-
we got to remember.
But that's the thing, though. I think that it's a tricky thing to do as well, because like you said, he's made this children's movie, but I don't see it as a children's movie. I see it as a family movie.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's very hard to make a family movie that doesn't cater to just children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it has that. I think it has. It does play on like the nostalgia of, you know, having like an overexcited imagination when you're a child and stuff like that. But like you said, I feel like it's too
Neat.
like constructed. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, because like you said, it's a pretty looking movie. I mean, when we were reading the credits, freaking Janusz Kaminski did the cinematography for that. You know, Spielberg's guy. He did Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List.
Okay, the guy who
He didn't do
was the
Schindler's List.
cameraman, the
DOP.
the DOP. So the person who was behind the camera leading the shots
Yeah.
was one of the
Multiple Oscar winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't do Schindler's, but he did Saving Private Ryan. But like, he's a fucking phenomenal cinematographer.
best. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, I just wanted it to be weirder.
Yeah,
But-
I agree.
But I think
Just
they
maybe
went
safe. It was maybe very safe.
Yeah, but which makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Alright. What's nice about the mornings is that we get all the customers who have rented from our beautiful video store, and they come and they bring back stuff. I see a customer coming right now.
How's it? I'm Grant from England, and I'm returning Clarkson's Farm Season 3 to the video store. What a show, honestly. It's following the same pattern as Season 1 and 2, and honestly, it's just a winning formula. There's heartbreak, there's tons of laughs. Even if you're not a big fan of Jeremy Clarkson, or you are, it's just a brilliant show and really highlights how tough, how difficult farming can be, from the heartache of losing animals or money, or when it rains, when it shouldn't. It just throws it all into perspective, and Clarkson does a brilliant job of guiding us through the journey of his year. Really, really enjoyed it. Thanks, guys, for the recommendation.
All right. Thank you for that. There is instructions on how you can send us one of those in the links below, the description of this episode. But very short, you can record a voice note and you can email it to us, thevideostorepod@gmail.com. And so it'd be nice to hear from you. So just know that you can always send us that. Have you guys watched Clarkson's Farm? Do you know about it?
No.
So this is Jeremy Clarkson, who was famous for being on Top Gear, which I think was great because it changed the way people perceived cars and car shows. They made it so fun. He then had a sort of fall from grace where I think
You can say that again.
yeah,
It's like-
some arrogance and things came out, and he eventually lost his job at Top Gear. Then they did a grand tour, which was
Yeah,
like
on Prime,
which
yeah.
you know other places commissioned what was effectively the magic of Top Gear, which was these three people in particular, you know, doing car related stuff. And now there's a show on Amazon Prime called Clarkson's Farm, which is Jeremy Clarkson sort of making his farm work in the countryside in England.
Yeah.
And apparently it's amazing. I haven't seen it.
Now that you mention Clarkson, like actual Jeremy Clarkson, I didn't put the two together.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing reviews just whilst doom scrolling, like from like publications, and they were all like praising it. So.
I think it's a little bit like what driving and love of cars got from Top Gear, which was like this exciting reinvention. This is that for farming. And I know you'd think that sounds strange, but I think the UK especially needed an invigoration in farming because, you know, over the years, so much has been outsourced to Europe. And, you know, with Brexit, a lot of those imports and those ties have made things difficult. So kind of having the British people return back to farming and finding an appreciation, I think, is actually doing something. And people are saying that it's changing the economy a bit of the UK when it comes to farming because this show has been so successful. Yeah, and it's just getting people excited about like fresh produce again.
That's cool.
You know, here he is like making stuff. And another thing that I got from a friend is they said he dumbs himself down a bit in Top Gear and sort of acts a fool a bit. But you know he's a smart dude. And apparently in Clarkson's Farm, he is at least revealing himself to be smarter.
Okay.
Which I think is interesting how people can build characters. It's like we're looking back on Paris Hilton so differently now.
I know, geez, like, have you heard her speak?
Have you seen some of this? Yeah,
she's insane.
I think she's got another book out or another whatever out. She's doing more PR and she's basically revealing, I mean, she's done this many, many times and the signs were always there, but she's drumming home the idea that the Paris Hilton we knew from Simple Life and all those kinds of MTV shows was a character that she put on.
Yeah.
There were certain things I'll never forget at the time, getting a sense that she was smarter.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree.
And she was the big bimbo that everybody sort of loved to make fun of.
Yeah.
And I remember once having a good conversation with someone about it. And I said, no, I've read this GQ article. And in the article, they revealed this, you know, a decade ago. They said, no, we hung out with her for the day. Don't be deceived.
Yeah.
And now, years later, like when she gives these interviews, she speaks differently, and she says, and a lot of the time,
it's like jarring almost because
she's got a deeper voice. She speaks more quickly and eloquently, and the person interviewing says, "But you sound different." She's like, "Yeah, I put on a character because the character sold, right? The stupid bimbo, like awesome.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's hard. Like she put all of that on.
Yeah,
she was fucking smart.
Yeah, no,
and I love that. I just love how like intellect came out.
Yeah, like that's
came out on top.
It's a crazy thing though. Like it's. I mean, I remember when I can't remember. I think my girlfriend was like, "Have you heard what Paris Hilton sounds like now?" And I was like, "No." And like they did a comparison of her on The Simple Life with Nicole Richie.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, that's hard. And like speaking the very Valley Girl accent and all that stuff. And then like in her new interview, she's like, sounds like a normal person.
Yeah. No, and she is smart.
Yeah. And she's like, and you can see she's kind of fed up with this shit. I know, I think there's a clip bouncing around as well where like, it's literally a real life clip of like someone filming when she was in her Paris Hilton persona.
Yeah.
And then like when the camera stopped rolling, like she turned it off immediately.
Yeah.
And like you just see her like hanging around.
Slump down and speak normally.
It's so nuts, man.
So talking of different character perceptions.
Yes.
I just finished Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh,
so I've been a Seinfeld fan. I recently just finished the entire series. Like that took me like a month. And going into this last season of Curb, just perfection.
I've never jumped on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I haven't as well. All my mates love Curb, and that was like
everyone I know loves
and I'm
it.
Like,
where is Curb?
It's on Showmax.
It's on Showmax.
Yeah.
Because I dabbled in Seinfeld later. Like I never watched Seinfeld at the time. I think I was too young when it was in its prime. And I watched a bit of it. I was like, no, I get it. Yeah. It's solid. It's this very reason why Jerry Seinfeld, is the famous, wealthy, successful comic because it's kind of it works for everyone. It's all very universal.
It's a show about nothing.
It's a show about nothing.
Yeah.
And sorry, what was interesting is that Larry David was a part of Seinfeld. he was the producer, right?
So he was the creator and the showrunner and
Yeah.
the main script writer.
and now Curb Your Enthusiasm is his show. It's him being him.
Yeah, it's very meta.
Yeah, so he left for the last 2 seasons. He came back for the finale, which everyone hated
In
Which-
Seinfeld.
in Seinfeld,
Yeah.
which they perfectly reference in the finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, I don't want to
Okay.
spoil it, but it's just like,
Okay, so is Curb Your Enthusiasm finished? Has it long since been finished?
No,
or is
this
it
is
only
finished.
finishing now?
so this is the 12th and final season. It finished like a few weeks ago.
Okay, that's interesting. So this is a moment. It's a moment in TV history where
Yeah.
now Curb Your Enthusiasm has finished.
And
Yeah.
Larry was saying
Okay.
he's so happy it's finished because he doesn't have to do that character anymore.
That's
And you're
interesting.
like,
So the
oh,
character, so he obviously has
Yeah.
to, but he is himself in the show. Hey? Is he
he's
Larry David?
He's an insanely accentuated version of himself.
Yeah.
But does he call himself Larry David?
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's Larry, and then all the other characters kind of play themselves, but they're not really involved with the real Larry in the way that they are in the show.
But is he Larry David who created Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so
Yeah.
he is himself,
Yeah,
and what is Curb Your Enthusiasm about?
it's a show about nothing.
About nothing. Yeah, well, this is what's interesting. So apparently, and just fact check me on this, but apparently, Seinfeld was this funny stand-up comedian, and then it was proposed that there should be a sitcom, and they were apparently debating what it could be about, and they weren't getting anywhere. And then apparently they were just Seinfeld and Larry David were just shooting the shit in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
They're like, this is what the show should be about.
And then one of them said that. I think maybe it was
so they
Seinfeld.
kind of
One of them said
they reference it in Seinfeld. They make a show. They get the NBC kind of get them to write a show. So you see George and Jerry like struggling to come up with this idea. Apparently, in real life, it was seamless. Like Larry's super professional, not like George.
Yeah.
So Seinfeld would rely on him for the structure and all of that.
Oh, so George in Seinfeld is meant to be
Larry.
David.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that.
So whenever George would say, "There's no way anyone would say that," Larry's like, "Happened to me. I did it. I said it."
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's delivered for you.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it was incredible. And like what Seinfeld was great at doing the show was the callbacks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
s-
and
over
that's-
the course of episodes and sometimes even seasons. But Kirby takes it to the next level. It's like the references and
I love a good callback
Oh.
in the sitcom.
it's
Like,
a very
Yeah.
British thing.
yeah.
But it's also callbacks are a big part of a stand-up comedy show.
Yeah.
So basically what that is, for those who don't know, is you sort of set up something, you make a reference, later on you come back to it, you reference it, and it's a delight for the audience because you go back to the old joke or it
Yeah, it's like an
references-
extended punchline almost.
Yeah, and you feel a part of the joke because you shared it before, and so especially with the TV show that's trying to make itself lovable, callbacks are smart because you feel like you're in on a joke.
And almost every Curb episode like ends on a callback and a character going, oh, ba-ba-da-bum, ba-dum, ba-da-ba-dum, ba-da-ba-da-bum. It's amazing.
I want to talk about something. Just you referencing something that's kind of like it's a TV show giving you something that you love and enjoy. I have been watching Bridgerton over the shoulder of Leslie,
you got into
my
it, yeah.
fiance, and
With the
and
shoulder.
yeah, well, it's not me going, hey, like let's carry on together, and when I come and join on the couch, it's always been like, we can watch something else. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm just,
That's always the
yeah,
conversation.
it's always the dude's response.
Yeah.
No, I got some work to do, so I'm going to tinker on my laptop while we. And then before you know it, you're like, Lady Featherington. But it's such a great show, and I want to just talk about why I think it's so good.
Okay.
Not that I think it's so good, why I think it's so successful.
Yeah.
Do you know much about Bridgerton, Gad?
It's period.
Yeah,
It's
I know
a
the first
period. It's
season
based
was like
on a
super raunchy.
bunch of books. There's a fat dollop of raunch
Yeah.
where all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is ETV and midnight to some
Really?
large
Jesus.
degree. No, there's a point where you're like, oh my God, this is just a
Yeah.
montage of sex scenes.
Just hot people.
But it's it's in a old English Pride and Prejudice-y kind of Jane Austen era England. But what makes it delightful is they've reimagined history which I think is great, that there's loads of black people, which is a very simple
They're
but
playing like
very
duchesses and,
effective retelling of
I'm
history.
not watching it.
Which is lovely, because if someone wanted to do this and play in that kind of sandbox, immediately, like, there's no room for diversity, because 300 or 400 years ago, whenever it was just white people that were noble. So it's just great that, and they don't obviously need to address it. It just is what it is, right? The queen is a black lady. Cool. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Thereafter, it's got nothing to do with the show. So immediately, you've got more audience, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone can see themselves and everyone can enjoy this show.
Yeah.
But it's painfully fucking simple. Each season really seems to be a season in society where you have to find a husband. And so it's all about the viscounts and the dukes and the whatevers calling on ladies, to sort of be a match. And from what I can tell over the shoulder of Leslie for the last 2 seasons, is it's basically been the same story, which is like someone is destined to marry someone else because for society that would be great, but secretly they love each other.
It's basically
and
the Christmas movie of period dramas from what I'm hearing.
But it is so painfully simple.
Yeah.
And it's just about like, but I love her and we should be together, but I'm matched to someone else. And it's like there's points and at the end of this, they're quite smart. They've taken this last season and broken it up into 2 parts, and so now everyone has to wait until June for part 2.
I hate when they do
But
that.
it makes sense. Otherwise, you binge it in a whole weekend,
That's true,
and then there's
yeah.
just there's no like deepened root attachment to it.
Yeah,
right?
you don't
It's
wait
crack.
a week every week. Yeah,
It's like a McDonald's burger. You just eat it and then 10 minutes later you feel awful.
yeah.
But there's points where I was watching this and I was laughing because I was like, this is so silly. Like, stop the carriage and the door swings open but I've always loved you. But where these actors must like actually stop themselves from laughing.
Yeah, because it's so ridiculous.
Because it is so ridiculous. But we need it. We fucking need it in society because we have such complicated, nuanced lives now that are so deeply layered with, so many problems that to just have a simple season where the hardest fucking thing in these people's lives is like maintaining their sense of place in society and finding a man. It's
Of
like,
course.
it does not advance feminism in any
all.
way, but it is just a delightful, like, super simple show
Yeah,
with a little, as I said, dollop of raunch where, like he's going at it in this carriage.
going at it. Yeah. So like,
It's so bad, but it's what, I dig it.
yeah.
And I, speaking of pets with great names, call back. We are talking about myself and Leslie, my fiance, we're talking about a future house
Yeah.
that we plan to move to soon. Currently, we're in an apartment, so we can get dogs. And the dogs we would like to get, we have decided the cutest and the best would be corgis.
Okay.
I haven't even looked
Corgis
into
are cute.
how one
Yeah.
even gets a corgi in South Africa. I doubt there's a corgi rescue.
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But it would be delightful to have corgis. And last night I named one. I was like, I think
After a Bridgerton.
yeah,
character.
I said one of them should be called Lady Featherington.
Of course.
And you can just call her Lady for short.
Yeah. Or feather or feathy.
Yeah. But I came up with the boy's name.
Ah.
And I think you guys would appreciate this. It's got nothing to do with Bridgerton. But it's got to be a British thing
Okay.
because, they British dogs
Yeah.
linked to the Queen. I want to call him Basil.
That's a good name.
His full name is Basil Exposition. And he works in British intelligence.
Exposition. Basil Exposition's a great rapper name as well.
But remember
Yeah.
Basil Exposition from Austin Powers?
Yes.
Oh,
Fuck,
okay.
of course.
This is Basil Exposition with British intelligence.
My friend's got a sausage dog whose name is Princess Gwen Stefani.
Princess Gwen Stefani.
Yeah.
You've had sausage dogs. Paris was
Oh,
the
my
one.
mom.
Yeah.
Paris is, and then the new one's Jaggy.
Jaggy, like Mick Jagger.
Jagger, yeah.
Yeah, but Paris. Shout out to
You
callback to
should
Paris
name
Hilton.
your corgi Ein as well. Did you ever watch Cowboy Bebop?
No.
Fucking great anime. It's my favorite anime series. So like,
Okay.
I'm not really into anime. I'll straight up admit it. Like, I love the Ghibli films. I love the classics. Akira, Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I know those are basic bitch answers, but like,
No.
Cowboy Bebop is so fucking cool. It's about bounty hunters on Mars, and it kicks so much ass. The Netflix
Adaptation.
adaptation wasn't good. The animated series is so good, and they've got a little corgi named Ein
Ein.
because it's a really smart dog. So it's like short for Einstein, and it's
Ah,
fucking awesome.
cute.
Is there a digestible amount of episodes in the anime?
It's like 26 episodes.
Is
The
that
whole
it?
show, the whole series.
okay.
And it killer soundtrack. It's like very jazzy.
It was first a TV show.
Yeah,
animated
animated
TV
series.
show.
Yeah.
Was it a comic, physical comic?
No,
first?
it was, I think, as far as I know, it was originally an anime. It's not a
Okay.
manga. I know someone's going to fact check us in the comments.
Because that's
Yeah.
normally why I'm hesitant to start. Like
No,
One
dude,
Piece is like 1,000
It's
episodes. Or
stupid.
something.
It's stupid. Like,
Okay.
and they still have like apparently like 10 more years to go. It's fucking mental.
What of
One
One
Piece.
Piece, yeah.
Just because there's so much story that's written.
But that's fucking insane. That's like actually ridiculous. And I know, come at me in the comments, bro. But like,
Yeah.
that's like for me, like a good show. I don't like it, but I love it when a show is like 3-4 seasons and it's done. You know what I mean?
Well, they have to have an end because
Yeah.
when a show doesn't, then that
It just
means that
drags. Walking Dead. Oh my god.
it means that
dude.
they've gotten renewed and gone, shit, well, what are we going to do this
Yeah.
season? Maybe this guy falls in love with this one. I don't
Yo,
know.
Grey's
Maybe this.
Anatomy. What are they? What
They're
is
like season 15 or some crazy shit.
I mean, even
like,
House went on too long.
Yeah.
But
think-
I think the smart way to do it is Doctor Who, which is like it just gets a reinvention. There's a new Doctor.
Yeah. I mean, they're
And-
doing it a lot with like anthology series.
Has
now,
anyone
like
watched the
Fargo,
new-
stuff like no.
But I've never seen a single Doctor.
I've never
Yeah.
seen a single one, but I know that the new Doctor is the dude Eric from Sex Education,
Yeah, he's in.
the sort of queer friend.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
one of the
okay.
Kens as well in Barbie.
He's one of the Kens,
Yeah.
and so this is the first. I think it's the first Doctor
He's the
of
first-
color.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
first like black Doctor Who.
Wasn't
yeah.
the previous
Really
Doctor a
awesome.
woman?
They have done women's in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just shows we're
Yeah,
getting
Jess
we're
said
getting
she'd
somewhere.
Like to try.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Progress.
progress.
But yeah, like going on like good series that end. So like, obviously I haven't watched Curb, but like as far as I understand, the 12 seasons, it's like every season was fucking amazing. Like it never dipped really. You know
If
what
you've
I mean?
got
Look,
the-
I mean, I've got favorite seasons.
Of course,
and least
everyone
favorite
does, yeah.
seasons, But
But if you've got the good formula, then it can be replicated
Yeah.
because then it's a day in the life. And so if your life is interesting,
Yeah,
then every day can be exciting. But
and that show is totally improvised.
that's
There's been like a
mental,
couple
yeah.
of episodes at the first episode of the new season because Jess was watching with me, and it just like it didn't work and it wasn't funny. She's like, "No, I'm not watching any more Curb." So I had to watch the rest
Yeah,
of the season.
and you
The
were
rest
worried.
was- yeah, I was worried, but like
Yeah.
straight away it was great again.
Yeah.
but it's just like sometimes the improv just they
what did
didn't-
she not like?
that it just wasn't funny.
Yeah, the jokes weren't landing. Eh?
Yeah, if it's not your radio station, then
But,
Yeah,
she,
exactly.
but she liked the previous season. She watched that with me. It's just this one particular episode I also felt didn't resonate as well as others.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
she was just like, okay, no, I'm done with Curb.
Interesting. No,
But-
it's like it's
yeah.
when Love Is Blind comes on as well. It's like I can't
It's-
watch this.
Yeah, it's
I can feel my brain rot.
So I love. I mean, look. Okay, when you say trash, so
No, but
There's-
something like Bridgerton is trash to me.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah, yeah.
delightful
It's
trash.
trashy,
It's
yeah.
it's a super sweet little
Morsel,
macaron cupcake that
Yeah.
I'm happy to eat. It's not good for me,
yeah.
but it tastes delicious, and I should maybe not have too many.
One thing that I do that I should stop doing, but like so, me and my girlfriend love Below Deck. Oh my fucking god! Great.
Below deck.
Yeah, it's
kind of
about-
sounded like you said Me and my girlfriend love to blow dick.
Deck's a great guy. No, Below
enjoys
Deck.
it.
Yeah, he loves it. Below Deck is about.
It'd be so great if you just carried on talking and then you just started talking about dick.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, he actually was talking about
Wait,
blowing dick.
I've never heard of the show, but I want to assume that it's a reality TV show set on a boat.
Yes.
Yachting.
Okay.
It's like the yachting industry, right?
Yeah, it's about the
Oh,
staff.
not cruise ships.
No, it's
More like
private yachts.
More like
yeah.
Triangle of
okay.
Sadness kind of.
Yeah, if watching Below Deck and watching Triangle Sadness, you're like, it's fucking amazing. Like,
Yeah.
But anyways, Below Deck, like reality show about like, yacht cruise. So
Yeah.
not really so it's the deckhands, the guys who like work outside and stuff, like with the boat and stuff, and the cabin crew, which are like, they clean up and serve the guests and stuff.
But they're usually like young, pretty people.
They're all young, white, and hot. Like,
Yeah.
there's a few, like, there's a big problem with, like, diversity in the industry. It's just young, white, hot people.
Yeah.
So there's a few episodes. There's a lot of South Africans, a lot of Aussies, a lot of Americans, obviously. But, like, there's a number of seasons where there are some black deckhands or cabin crew, and they're mostly South African, and they talk about that being an issue in the industry. And like, but yeah, it's a really trashy, great show. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I love it.
Okay. Lovely. Oh, well,
Netflix.
yeah.
Yeah. There's a few seasons on Netflix, not all of them. If you have DSTV, there's like 3 franchises. There's Mediterranean. There's like 4 or 5. There's Down Under.
God.
Yeah, there's it's the MCU of Below Deck. It's the multiverse. Yeah, there's the Scandinavian one, Australian one. There is the regular one where they go to like wherever, Thailand, whatever. There's Sailing Yacht, where it's not a motor. It's a motorized yacht, like with the
actual
sails.
sail. Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. And then there's the Mediterranean one. Yeah.
Lovely. Dudes, it was been a lovely day.
Yeah.
I think we should call it there. I think we should pack up and go home.
Okay.
I think we had ourselves a lovely day, and I appreciate you guys. Our home base is thevideostore.co.za. And as I said, in the description of this episode down below are instructions on how you can return something that you're watching. This is a new thing we want to grow. So you record a voice note quite simply on your phone, record it in your voice recorder app, and you email it to us, videostorepod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear what you are enjoying and also what you think of some of the stuff we've spoken about. Links to previous episodes and previous guests are also there, and chime in on social media. Let us know. And as we said, this Thursday is Glenn Biederman Pam, the actor and comedian and content maker. So that's going to be a good chat. All right. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for today. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.